Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a world where your most fundamental freedoms, your right to speak, to worship, to be treated equally, are at risk. The very principles that define our nation are tested every day, but there's one document that stands firm in defense of our liberties, the Bill of Rights. This powerful foundation has shaped our freedom for over 2 centuries, and its influence is felt not just in America, but across the globe. Stay with me as we explore how these 10 amendments continue to protect us, challenge us, and shape our future in ways we never expected. And the 1791 Bill of Rights marks a critical turning point in the evolution of American civil rights, establishing a foundation for the protection of individual liberties that would shape the nation's legal landscape. Ratified as the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution, these rights were a direct response to widespread concerns over the potential for governmental overreach. The framers of the Constitution sought to ensure that certain fundamental freedoms would be safeguarded against infringement by the newly formed federal government. Among these, the First Amendment holds particular significance, guaranteeing freedoms of speech, press, religion, and assembly, which continue to serve as pillars of democratic expression. The Second Amendment further solidifies individual rights by enshrining the right to bear arms, an issue that remains hotly debated in contemporary legal and political circles. Additionally, the Fourth Amendment's protections against unreasonable searches and seizures, and the Fifth Amendment's safeguards against self-incrimination and double jeopardy highlight a deep concern for personal privacy and legal fairness. The Sixth and Seventh Amendments together ensure the right to a speedy trial and to confront one's accuser, underscoring the importance of procedural justice and the right to a fair hearing. Meanwhile, the Eighth Amendment prohibits cruel and unusual punishment, emphasizing the humane treatment of individuals within the criminal justice system. These amendments collectively formed a robust framework designed to prevent tyranny and guarantee that the government would remain accountable to its citizens. While the Bill of Rights was initially intended to limit federal power, it has since been applied to the states through the 14th Amendment's equal protection and due process clauses. This extension has allowed for the expansion of civil rights, addressing discriminatory practices, and ensuring equal treatment under the law. The ongoing interpretation and application of these protections by the judiciary continue to play a vital role in the advancement of civil rights in America, influencing landmark Supreme Court decisions that have shaped the course of American history. The Bill of Rights not only enshrines the freedoms Americans hold dear, but also stands as a testament to the nation's commitment to protecting individual rights, ensuring that these protections remain integral to the American legal system. And the protection of civil rights as outlined in the Bill of Rights serves as an enduring reminder that freedom is not merely a privilege but an unalienable right, one that must be actively defended and preserved. This foundational document has not only shaped the structure of the American legal system, but has also influenced the broader development of human rights worldwide. The freedoms granted by the Bill of Rights are not static. They evolve through judicial interpretation, societal shifts, and the struggles of those who have fought to expand these rights to all citizens. Over time, the Supreme Court's role in safeguarding civil liberties has become pivotal as it has consistently interpreted these provisions to meet the needs of an ever-changing society. And one of the critical dimensions of the Bill of Rights is its recognition that individuals possess inherent rights that exist independently of the government. These rights are not granted by the state, but rather they are protected from state infringement. The very essence of the Bill of Rights is a recognition of the importance of the individual, within the societal framework, ensuring that the government cannot trample upon personal freedoms for any reason, however noble or justified the intentions may seem. This principle has been the bedrock upon which countless battles for equality and justice have been fought in the courts, in the streets, and in the hearts and minds of ordinary people. From the civil rights movements of the 20th century to the contemporary struggles for gender equality, LGBTQ plus rights and religious freedoms, the Bill of Rights has remained a living document guiding the nation through turbulent times and ensuring that the principles of liberty, equality, and justice remain at the forefront of the national discourse. And the courts have long recognized the Bill of Rights as not just a historical artifact, but a dynamic framework that requires interpretation in the context of modern challenges. Decisions regarding freedom of speech, for instance, have evolved to address the complexities of the digital age, where the rapid spread of information on social media and the internet has raised new questions about the limits of free expression. Similarly, the right to privacy, initially established through protections against unwarranted searches, has expanded to address the digital surveillance state and concerns over data privacy in the 21st century. In these ways, the Bill of Rights has adapted, proving its relevance across centuries, and reinforcing the notion that individual rights cannot be ignored even in the face of evolving technological, political, and social landscapes. And as the nation continues to grapple with issues of racial injustice, economic inequality, and the rights of marginalized communities, the Bill of Rights remains a critical tool in the ongoing fight for civil rights. The legal battles fought to dismantle segregation, secure voting rights for all citizens, and guarantee the equal protection of the laws have all drawn upon the fundamental protections established by the Bill of Rights. It is through these struggles that the true meaning of freedom is tested, as the nation is constantly called upon to examine whether its laws and institutions live up to the promises made in the Bill of Rights. When the rights of one person are violated, it is not just a breach of the individual's freedom, but a threat to the collective promise of liberty that the nation was founded upon. And in each instance where the principles of the Bill of Rights have been challenged, there has been an unwavering determination to uphold the ideals of justice and equality. The American legal system has provided a forum for these debates, and the protection of civil rights has become a shared responsibility among the government, the courts, and the people. This shared responsibility calls on each generation to ensure that the rights guaranteed in the Bill of Rights remain accessible to all regardless of race, gender, religion, or socioeconomic status. It is through this ongoing commitment to the ideals of the Bill of Rights that the promise of liberty and justice for all can continue to be fulfilled. The legacy of the Bill of Rights is not one of perfection, but of progress that requires vigilance, courage, and an unwavering belief in the inherent dignity of every individual. And the path toward the full realization of civil rights, as envisioned by the Bill of Rights, has never been linear. There have been countless instances where progress was met with resistance, yet the resilience of the American legal system in protecting these rights underscores the profound importance of the Bill of Rights. As the nation evolved, so too did the understanding of what those rights encompass, especially in light of significant social, political, and technological changes. This adaptability has proven crucial in ensuring that the Bill of Rights remains a relevant and living document. The expansion of the judiciary's role in upholding the Bill of Rights has provided a critical safeguard against the potential excesses of government power, particularly in times of national crisis or when individual rights come into direct conflict with perceived national interests. And at the core of the Bill of Rights is the concept that individual freedoms are not simply theoretical, but are embedded in the structure of American governance. The bill's enduring power lies in its insistence that the government exists to serve its citizens, not the other way around. This fundamental understanding has led to the expansion of these rights in various spheres of American life. The landmark Supreme Court case Brown v. Board of Education in 1954, which declared racial segregation in public schools unconstitutional, drew upon the principles enshrined in the Bill of Rights, particularly the Equal Protection Clause. Likewise, Obergefell v. Hodges in 2015, which legalized same-sex marriage, reinforced the notion that civil rights protections extend to all individuals regardless of their sexual orientation, and that the right to marry is a fundamental liberty deserving of protection under the Constitution. These cases exemplify how the Bill of Rights has evolved over time, influencing not just legal precedents, but also societal norms and the national conversation about freedom and equality. And as each generation confronts its own challenges, the Bill of Rights remains a guiding framework for understanding the balance between individual liberties and governmental authority. In the post-9/11 era, for example, the expansion of surveillance powers raised significant concerns regarding the Fourth Amendment's protection against unreasonable searches. The debate over privacy rights in the digital age has forced a reconsideration of how traditional protections apply to new technologies. The enactment of laws such as the USA Patriot Act, which granted the government broad surveillance powers in the name of national security, sparked critical debates about the extent to which civil liberties could be restricted in times of crisis. These debates have become increasingly relevant as concerns over privacy. The collection and the rise of surveillance technology continue to challenge the protections established by the Bill of Rights. Even as new threats emerge, the nation has been forced to reckon with how best to preserve the freedoms of individuals while maintaining security. And furthermore, the First Amendment's protection of free speech has been increasingly scrutinized in the context of new forms of communication. In the age of social media, where millions of voices can be amplified instantly, questions about the limits of free speech have taken center stage. Social media platforms, once heralded as the great equalizers of public discourse, have become battlegrounds for debates over misinformation, hate speech, and the role of private companies in moderating speech. These issues have sparked significant legal challenges as courts are forced to grapple with the nuances of how free speech protections apply in the digital realm. Yet the central tenet remains clear: the protection of speech, no matter how unpopular or controversial, is vital to preserving democracy and ensuring that all voices can be heard in the public square. The tension between the exercise of free speech and the potential harm caused by its abuse continues to be one of the most significant challenges in the interpretation of the Bill of Rights. And through all these developments, the Bill of Rights has continued to serve as a bulwark against governmental overreach, and as a reminder of the enduring responsibility to protect the civil rights of all individuals. From the very beginning of the Republic, the framers understood that the preservation of liberty requires constant vigilance. As society evolves, the interpretation of the Bill of Rights must adapt, ensuring that the promises of freedom, equality, and justice remain at the core of American democracy. Each generation's commitment to defending these rights ensures that the United States continues to move closer to the ideals set forth in its founding documents. And in this way, the Bill of Rights not only serves as a legal framework, but as a moral compass guiding the nation in its pursuit of a more just and equitable society. And the ongoing dialogue surrounding the Bill of Rights emphasizes the necessity of continually examining the relationship between individual liberties and the state's responsibility to protect public order. As society becomes more interconnected and global in its outlook, the implications of constitutional rights extend beyond the borders of the United States. International human rights standards increasingly draw from the principles outlined in the Bill of Rights, underscoring its importance not just as a national document, but as a symbol of broader global aspirations for justice, liberty, and fairness. The Bill of Rights has influenced a multitude of nations' legal frameworks. As its core tenets resonate with the universal desire to safeguard the dignity of the individual against the potential tyranny of governmental powers. And however, the expansion of civil rights protections also raises complex questions about the limits of government intervention, particularly in areas where individual rights conflict with broader societal interests. One such area is the national security domain, where the balance between protecting the nation from external threats and preserving individual freedoms has been a long-standing challenge. In times of war or national emergency, the government has historically sought to limit certain freedoms in the name of national security, often sparking debates about whether such actions are justified under the Constitution. The internment of Japanese Americans during World War II, the surveillance of suspected communist sympathizers during the Cold War, and the more recent use of Mass Day, the collection in the fight against terrorism all raise pertinent questions about how the government should balance security concerns with the constitutional rights of individuals. As technology continues to advance, the ability of the state to surveil and control individuals increases, making it even more critical to ensure that the protections enshrined in the Bill of Rights are upheld. And equally important is the relationship between federal and state powers, which has been a source of ongoing contention since the Bill of Rights was first ratified. The incorporation of the Bill of Rights to apply to the states through the 14th Amendment has had a profound impact on the legal landscape, as it has expanded the reach of federal protections to state and local governments. This process of incorporation ensures that rights guaranteed at the federal level cannot be easily denied by state governments, which may have historically held more autonomy in regulating the lives of their citizens. As the court continues to interpret the scope of the 14th Amendment, it has furthered the notion that civil rights should be uniformly protected across the nation, ensuring a more consistent application of justice. This has become especially important in the context of voting rights education and the criminal justice system, where the federal government's role in upholding constitutional rights has been critical in dismantling discriminatory practices. And another vital aspect of the Bill of Rights is its focus on procedural fairness, ensuring that every individual has access to the legal system and is treated justly by the state. The due process clauses of the 5th and 14th Amendments serve as safeguards against arbitrary actions by government authorities, guaranteeing that individuals cannot be deprived of life, liberty, or property without a fair and transparent process. These protections are essential in maintaining the integrity of the legal system, as they require that individuals be provided with notice of charges, the opportunity to present a defense, and the right to be judged by a fair and impartial tribunal. The Sixth Amendment's guarantee of the right to counsel further ensures that those accused of crimes are not disadvantaged in navigating the complexities of the legal system. Over time, these procedural protections have become integral to ensuring that justice is administered fairly and that the rights of the accused are not trampled upon by an overzealous or unjust government. And as legal scholars, policymakers, and citizens continue to engage with the Bill of Rights, it is clear that its enduring power lies not only in the rights it guarantees, but also in its capacity to evolve with the times. It is through the diligent work of the judiciary, the advocacy of civil rights organizations, and the collective efforts of the people that the promise of liberty and justice can be fully realized. With each challenge to individual rights, with each new test of the limits of governmental power, the nation must reflect upon the core principles of the Bill of Rights and recommit to ensuring that the protection of civil liberties remains a cornerstone of American law. The Bill of Rights stands as both a beacon and a bulwark, guiding the nation toward a more just future while defending the fundamental freedoms upon which the United States was founded. In this ongoing journey, it is vital to remember that the preservation of these rights requires constant vigilance and unwavering dedication.